Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Forecast on this Thursday, February 5th. StormTracker8 forecaster Tyler Hall here, and today joined by our chief meteorologist, Matt DiNardo. Matt, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Nice sunshine out there, but still has that chill in the air. We can't shake that, Tyler.
Right, yeah, it's been a very chilly past couple of days. Obviously, Monday and Tuesday, we saw a lot of melting in here, which was great from that winter storm we had January 24th, January 25th. But we still have some lingering issues out there.
For sure, for sure. And this weekend, we have another little kind of Arctic blast coming at us. And, it's just, I was at the car wash on the way in. And, I mean, the lines are huge to just get some of the salt off the cars. And not that I'm advocating for people to go to the car wash, but that salt will deteriorate some of your, exterior wax and enamels and stuff like that. So you really want to try and get it off the best you can.
Yeah, I've been using the fluid in my car.
The washer fluid.
Yeah, the washer fluid. I blanked out there, but I've been using that a lot this week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, gotta keep that filled as well.
Yeah, and speaking of snow, went back in the history books, and back in 2010, we had a winter storm here, Matt, in the Richmond area that was quite the snow producer.
It was, about 7 to 10 inches really across most of Metro Richmond, then stretched across the northern neck, middle peninsula into southern Maryland. It was kind of many areas, I would say from about Dinwiddie County and north is really what it was. You got to the southern part of the state along the Virginia-North Carolina line. It was a little bit less. I think it might have mixed with some rain and sleet, if I remember correctly. In fact, even in Richmond with those numbers, I do remember some sleet for a period. So it was one of those heavy wet snows.
Okay.
I feel like JB now, going back in my mind. JB can always go back and recall things like this. I guess,
right?
You just certain things just stick in your head for sure.
Well, we'll have to phone a friend and call JB this afternoon and ask him about this.
That's right,
but
exactly.
All kidding aside, going to what we're going to talk about today. So 3 topics. So we do have another system coming in for Friday. Looks like another weak system like we had yesterday. Possibility for a warming trend next week. And, of course, the Winter Olympics happening in Italy through February 22nd.
Yeah, and there's already starting some of the games. Even though opening ceremonies are Friday, there's so many games, so few venues that you have to overlap, so they got to get things going a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah, we had snowboarding on in the Weather Center. That'll be fun to watch. And I know there's many other sports happening too. So, yeah, let's get into the Friday system here. So, first and foremost, we're pretty quiet across the country here, Matt, with a system off of the Carolina coast. And it looks like we have some lake effect snow ongoing for the Great Lakes.
Yeah, that's part of it. There's some lake effect snow, and part of that is that weak system, which is dropping into us. One of the things you're looking at there, Tyler, that area of snow that's now dropping into Indiana and Ohio and obviously through the lower peninsula of Michigan, it really is weak, as you mentioned, and it looks great on radar, but it's going to lack a lot of moisture. So don't expect that to give us much in the way of accumulation, if any. Kind of like last evening. It really was a lot of bark and no bite. In fact, last night at 11, when I was on the air and I was looking at the radar, it should have been, based on the radar returns, it should have been snowing really good in Short Pump. And then I looked at the dew point depression, temperature and dew point, and there was such a spread that a lot of it was evaporating. And when I pulled up the Short Pump camera, couldn't even see a few flakes. So it was really weak. And I have a feeling with this Arctic air in the mix, same thing might happen for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, kind of what happened this past weekend. We were tracking a winter storm, but we had strong Arctic air over central Virginia that really significantly limited the moisture over us versus North Carolina. North Carolina got a ton of snow this past Saturday.
And even South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, some areas picked up like 6 to 8 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Good for those folks. They need a little fun in their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Some snow and sand to play with this past weekend. All right, so looking at the future cast for the rest of today, we're nice and quiet. Tonight into Friday morning, we're going to be getting cold again. So I would not be surprised if we see some refreezing, maybe some black ice issues, at least in isolated locations. We have made significant progress this week as far as melting off that snow and ice. Then we get into tomorrow. The first half of tomorrow is fine, but then we get into the late afternoon and into the evening, and we'll be monitoring for some rain and snow showers here, Matt.
Yeah, so again, when we look at that futurecast, I really think people are looking at this going, oh my gosh, this is a huge system. I really want to make sure people understand this is super light moisture. So it's like snow showers, flurries, and it might be warm enough, especially Richmond Point South, that some rain mixes in.
Right.
I mean, this is not going to be like inches of snow. Like I said, little to nothing, if anything. Yeah.
Right. And then we get into Saturday, and this will be something we'll be watching pretty closely, the wind here, Matt, on the back end of this system.
Yeah, a Saturday, especially Saturday morning, we were talking about temperatures could be in the teens. And when you factor in 25 to 30 mile per hour winds, your wind chills could be down to near zero. So if you're heading out first thing Saturday morning, I suggest bundling up. Now, if you don't have to head out Saturday morning, that couch with a nice blanket and a nice hot cup of coffee or cocoa, place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like this past weekend, we had a really windy day and it was really cold and miserable outside. Now, next topic of discussion, warming trend. There has been some hints in the models. We were just talking about that minutes before the show started. But first, kind of going over what we've had so far this month, we've remained below average here, Matt.
This is crazy, right? And if you think about that 45 on Tuesday actually felt balmy.
Right.
Because we've been so 33, 39, yesterday 37, right? And even today, we're in the mid-30s, but there isn't much of a wind. And so it's like, all right, I can do. But that 45, but where are the 50s? Usually, once we get into February, we start to see some pretty big swings, sometimes really nice. There might not be any.
Yeah, we'll see. Middle of next week, we could be warming up. But first and foremost, for like the rest of today, again, basically trough east, ridge west, and, areas along and east of the Mississippi River, the past couple of days. And honestly, most of this winter have been below average here, Matt.
And the entire East Coast, really, right? We started off December. We had that two little snow events, and we stayed real cold. Around Christmas week into the first week of January, we were above normal. And then once we hit mid-January, boom, bottom dropped out. And this has been the pattern, ridge west, trough east, and the cold air has been across the East Coast. And part of that has to do with the disruption in the polar vortex, some stratospheric warming events.
Right.
Maybe one day we'll talk about that whole thing because it's really kind of technical.
Right.
And there might be another stratospheric warming event going on, which would disrupt the polar vortex even more. And therefore, we could be looking at, after this brief mild trend, and again, I don't want to get so much into that, we may be cold for the back end of February, which would just be like, really? Come on now.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely been a notable winter when it comes to at least temperatures. Now, again, this is just kind of some signals showing that the eastern half of the country could get back to at least average, maybe a little bit above average for next week, Matt.
Is this 6 to 10 or 8 to 14? Do you remember what you have up here, by the way?
This is 8 to 14.
8 to 14. So that puts us, into the middle of the. Great, right? But we're in that little light orange, and it's like, okay, so if the normal high is 51, is that 55 for a high? You know what I'm saying? It's not St. Louis, which would be like 70, right? That's what I'd love to see over us. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll come eventually. We just have to be patient. Now, speaking of the
Tyler with the attitude of just be patient.
Just be patient. Yeah. One day at a time, my friend. So moving on to the Olympics here. Again, we were watching some snowboarding action, and I know we had curling on, but we have a lot of events happening, Matt, before the opening ceremonies, which is happening tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, curling's been going on. It's been mixed curling right now. Alpine skiing, I think, is one of the most spectacular things. I know figure skating is like the dominant thing, right? Women, men love figure skating. It is pretty fun to watch. I like the speed sports. That's just kind of my thing. Obviously, ice hockey. The women won today against Czechia, which I didn't know that Czechia is the former Czechoslovakia, that those two countries split back in 1993. I don't know where I've been for the past 30 years. I guess it just never. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
you know, and then
I didn't realize that either.
I mean, you know, anyway, so yeah, but you had ice hockey, you had alpine skiing, you had luge. I mean, there's some good stuff there. I like all of this stuff. I love the Olympics in general. I know some people are like, whatever. I think it's great. Sure.
Yeah, next couple of weeks, it'll be, you know, a way for the world to come together in sport, which is a beautiful thing. And yeah, there's 16 sports happening as Madison and I yesterday were kind of digging into the Winter Olympics stuff. So yeah, it'll be fun to definitely follow the next couple of weeks.
Very, very cool.
So yeah, wanted to talk about the radar here. This is for Friday into Saturday, by the way. So they're going to be dealing with some rain, and then they'll be drying out just in time for the opening ceremonies. And as far as temperatures are concerned, for northern Italy, where Milan is, looking pretty good in the 40s to around 50s. So not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, obviously the northern Italian Alps will be cold enough to, you know, have the snow to support all those other events. So good stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on to the 8-day here for us back at home. Again, in the upper 30s with partly sunny skies. Well, mostly sunny skies the rest of today. And again, tracking a weak system for late tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Minor snowfall accumulations, as Matt and I have been talking about. And then Saturday is going to be a chilly and a windy day, as we've been talking about as well.
Now, Tyler, I'm very interested in something. Why on Sunday didn't you put a Patriots helmet under the...
I'm not going to do that. I mean, yes, they are my team, Matt, but I'm not going to put that in an 8-day and then potentially make a lot of people upset.
Do you not think that if the Steelers were in, I would not put a Steelers helmet there? I mean, let's be honest.
I don't know.
100% I would.
Yeah.
I would expect you to put the Patriots there. JB would have put the Patriots there. He would have put, like, you know, he would, instead of the big game, he would have put Pats champs. That's what he would have put. I'm just telling you.
Well, the other day I put Super Bowl Sunday, and then I just changed it to the big game for Sunday. But anyways.
The Patriots would be there. I expected it.
Or, you know, Patriots and Seahawks helmets, like 2 tiny ones. I don't know.
No,
but
just put the Patriots. I mean, that's who you want to win, right?
Right.
So, there you go.
We'll see. And we'll be talking about the Super Bowl tomorrow on tomorrow's show, so that'll be fun. And, of course, the latest weather as well. So with that, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Forecast. And Matt will get to forecasting here, and you'll see him for 8 News at 4.
See you then.